Namecheap. This intro was going to be about pirates, but it got all messed up when I realized who I'm represented by in this analogy. I was so excited to tell you about the late 1600s, you would have thought I overdosed on gas station energy pills. And you would be correct, fueling my passion to talk about Blackbeard, Tortuga, grog, and booty. Modern day pirates don't take to the open seas, but the digital ecosystems that they abuse function in a very similar way to a pirate cove. When I thought of this connection, I figured, what a great way to make a dry story a bit more interesting. But guess what? In this analogy, I'm this guy. Yep. Look, I even made the company logo that I'm focusing on wave like a pirate ship flag. Oh, Namecheap, by the way. Namecheap is the company I'm focusing on, and they're the pirate cove in this analogy. I'll get to that in a minute. I was so into it. And then this. So we aren't going to do the pirate intro, okay? Namecheap is a domain registrar similar to GoDaddy, or HostPapa. Make sure not to confuse this with CheapDaddy, which is not a domain registrar. All jokes aside, I recently received an email containing a job offer scam. Pulling the thread on where that email may have originated led me to a server hosting hundreds of websites. Many of them are no longer active, but the ones that are range from fake casinos used for money laundering to phishing websites designed to get your personal information, much like the fake job offer that emailed me. In my opinion, there's a deliberate effort being made by the leadership at Namecheap to protect these criminals. The systems and policies created by Namecheap make them the clear top choice when scammers need to register a website. Now, I'm not just here to complain about an imperfect system. I do have some solutions that I believe will be effective, and that's what I want to look at today. My name is Steve, and this is my totally not creepy van. Ignore your survival instincts and hop in the back. This one's going to take us on a trip. This all started with an email.
Hello, Steven. I'm reaching out to offer you a flexible opportunity as a project manager with our team. Both part-time and full-time options are available to suit your schedule. To apply, just send your resume. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have by email. Sincerely, Chloe.
$75,000 a year to work from home seemed a little too good to be true. I decided to head to their website to check it out. At a glance, this site would be good enough to trick someone without their guard up, but when you look at the artwork they are using, the lack of contacts for the company, and the lack of any real client testimonials, it becomes obvious this site is 100% AI generated. Certain that Chloe was trying to scam me, I decided to be the wrong one to f with. Using reverse DNS lookup, I was able to learn that the scammer that contacted me was hosting his website on Cloudflare servers. Furthermore, they registered their domain using Namecheap. Any personal information about the website has been withheld for privacy. Or so it would seem. Withheld for privacy is actually a supposed third-party service offered through Namecheap. For an additional charge, website owners can pay to have their personal details removed from DNS, Whois, and ICANN lookup. Unfortunately, this acts as a smoke shield for scammers, and when I'm trying to f one of their days up, I do not appreciate it. First of all, nothing I did to acquire any of this information goes beyond what a member of the public can learn through public records. I'm not gifted in computer science beyond being a little persistent when I'm curious. The tools I use for this research are reverse DNS lookup, reverse IP lookup, and Whois lookup. These are all free tools available to the public, and I encourage you to familiarize yourself with them as they can be effective in protecting yourself against getting scammed. For example, Whois lookup didn't give me the personal information I wanted to send somebody a glitter bomb, but it did show me that the website that had been trying to scam me was created only a few months before they tried to reach out to me. This information contradicted statements made on their website and gave me confidence in my suspicions that the job offer was a scam. Links to these tools will be included in the description of this video. That last point brings me to my next point. If someone like me can find this stuff, then the people running the show can create better systems to protect the general public. I mean, look at this. I ran one of the fake client names from the fake job offer that targeted me, and I was able to find an exact copy of the site under a different business name, targeting people with the same scam. FYI, that scam ends with them getting your bank information under the guise of you setting up your direct deposit for your new job. None of the scams are good, but that is a shitty one. Unless we go to Fairy Tale Land, those are obviously two fake websites owned by the same person running a scam trying to get people's personal information. I'm not going to entertain the possibility that those are legitimate businesses that just so happen to have the same exact looking website with an HR manager named Chloe. I have to give credit when credit's due. I filed an abuse report with Namecheap on those websites, and they were shut down within a couple days. What a lot of people aren't aware of is there's a governing board on the internet called ICANN that regulates how those abuse reports should be handled. An acceptable response rate to have a fraudulent, abusive website like that taken down is about 12 to 24 hours. I feel like this was pretty well close to that and pretty acceptable, so I'm not going to knock them when they don't deserve it. With that being said, I want to show you a tweet made by Namecheap CEO Richard Kirkendall to give you an idea of what his attitude is like on these abuse reports. On March 9th, 2021, Twitter user RSMCK had an exchange with Namecheap CEO. In his tweet, he says, "All the information you need is in that tweet. If you need to raise a ticket in Kayako to keep track of it, you can do that yourself using the handy new ticket function and assign it to the relevant department. Or you can ignore a fraud report and be complicit in it." Richard Kirkendall responds, "More than 9 out of 10 abuse reports submitted to us are false or incorrect. We processed, investigated 1.1 million abuse claims reports in 2020, and only 100,000 of them were actually found to be linked to abuse. Less than 1% of domains registered with us. Submit a ticket." Right off the bat, that's a dick way to handle things, Dick. Can I call you Dick? Thanks, Dick. I'm going to be a little speculative here and say that more than 1% of those 1.1 million abuse reports you got in 1 year were actual fraudulent websites. That's not a brag that you only shut down 1% of them. Could it be that many of these abuse reports that you claim are false or incorrect lack evidence because the security service that you're providing obscures said evidence that would support the abuse report? Let's take a look at Withheld for Privacy, a supposed third-party company offered through Namecheap to help protect its customers' personal details. This sounds good until you realize, with morality taken out of it, cybercriminals are customers. They're just another market, and if you design products and services that attract them, it's a market you can capture. Now, I wouldn't blame you for thinking I was on a wild goose chase up until this point, but the next thing I'm going to show you is Namecheap up to some undeniably sketchy shit. And I'm a firm believer that companies don't do sketchy shit unless they're doing sketchy shit. March 4th, 2021, Namecheap published the article shown on screen. The article addresses customers and informs them of an upcoming change in privacy service providers. However, before telling you about the new provider, Namecheap takes the opportunity to remind you that the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, or ICANN, is responsible for keeping the internet secure, and they enforce a rule that requires all domain registrants to provide up-to-date contact information for each registered domain. But now, this is a big problem because scary marketing firms might get your information and do telemarketing calls on your phone. Thankfully, Namecheap will hide all the information that ICANN requires to keep the internet safe and secure so that no one has to get those scary telemarketer phone calls. I'm going to stop right there because I said at the beginning of the video that I had solutions. This is the biggest opportunity to improve, right here. If telemarketers are such a big issue, the solution isn't to hide from telemarketers and accept the collateral damage that you're also hiding information that helps make the internet a more safe and secure place. No, you penalize the telemarketers. There is already a national do not call list and a large fine for businesses that call numbers on the do not call list. Enforcing that fine and making it truly criminal for telemarketers to engage in unacceptable behavior would be a lot more effective than obscuring information that ICANN requires. Not to mention, skimming Whois lookup is just not an effective way to prospect leads. It's not as big of an issue as the solution they've put in place. Anyway, continuing on with the article, a section reads, "Having scoured the globe for a domain privacy service that matches our needs, we've selected Withheld for Privacy based in Iceland, a country known for its privacy standards." It is obvious that Namecheap wants to give the impression that Withheld for Privacy is a completely unrelated third-party company that just does such a good job they were Namecheap's top choice for privacy provider. It is all bullshit. Withheld for Privacy is directly owned by Namecheap and was founded just a few months before this announcement was made. Namecheap switched privacy providers from WhoisGuard, a privacy provider owned by Namecheap, to Withheld for Privacy, a privacy provider owned by Namecheap. Why would they go through the trouble of doing this? They wanted to create distance between the Namecheap brand and the Withheld for Privacy brand. Now, companies that are honest and transparent in their practices don't do this type of shit. But companies that screw people over and act like they had no control over the circumstances do this type of shit. On screen, I'm showing proof that Withheld for Privacy is directly owned by Namecheap. To further back up my claims and give my narrative some solid footing, this UK-based report published in 2021 found Namecheap to be the commanding leader when it came to hosting fraudulent websites. The National Cybersecurity Center reported 30% of all UK government-themed phishing sites were hosted on Namecheap. While response to abuse reports dramatically improved from 47 hours to 9 hours, dramatic spikes in fraudulent websites lead me to believe Namecheap still views cybercriminals as customers. From February 2025 to July 2025, phishing sites on Namecheap jumped from 31,000 to 103,000, according to Cybercrime Information Center. So, what makes Namecheap so attractive to scammers? The cheap, disposable infrastructure. Their insatiable desire to sell bundled TLDs such as .xyz or .fun, .work, or even .online. These packages aren't attractive to normal customers wanting to host a single legitimate website for their business or a handful of legitimate websites for a business. These packages appeal to cybercriminals that plan on churning through a large volume of websites, and they need to be able to burn through them cheap and anonymously. Two things that Namecheap considers foundations of their brand. And that's all for this one. I appreciate you sticking around until the end. I will be live streaming soon to determine the topic of the next Steve's Creepy Van trip. So if you'd like to have a say in that, make sure you don't miss the upcoming live stream. I will be examining 2 potential subjects, and at the end of the stream, the audience will be deciding which one I feature in an episode. It should be a lot of fun, and it'll be a good opportunity to get to know you all a little more and give you a chance to get to know me as well. And with that, get the hell out of my van.